Welcome back to the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast. Today we have Antônio Rodrigo Minotauro Nogueira. Not only is he a friend of mine, but an absolute legend of the sport, a Pride champion, a UFC champion, a UFC Hall of Famer, one of the toughest guys to ever fight in the sport of MMA. He's had some of the toughest fights, some of the biggest fights, a huge inspiration for me growing up. Watching him as I unfolded my career, watching him at the top, as I was coming up. And then luckily I've been fortunate enough to actually not only meet him, but hang out with him in a multitude of countries. It's just crazy how we've had so many appearances and situations in so many different countries. There's probably like 6 or 7 countries we've hung out in. So it's weird, but it's such a great experience every time I hang out with him. He's a great guy. He's an ambassador to the sport. He always has been one of the nicest guys in the sport. And he doesn't need much introduction. I've already overdone it. But the reason I'm dressed like this is he's in Abu Dhabi right now reporting for UFC Brazil. He's doing a lot of interviews. He's on Fight Island. The last time I was there in Abu Dhabi with him, this is how I looked. So I thought it was only appropriate that I dress the same. It was a little silly too. But anyway, let's talk to Nogueira. Nogueira, welcome to the show, buddy.
Yeah, very welcome. I just remember we was here like 10 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, was it 10 years?
10 years, my friends. It was 2010.
Yeah, that's why I'm dressed like this. This is how I dressed when we were in Abu Dhabi together last time.
Yeah, nice. Very good, very good.
So when we were here, when we were in Dubai, I'm pretending like I'm in Abu Dhabi right now. When we were in Abu Dhabi, that was fun, right? Like we had so much fun. We were like playing with camels, driving in the buggies and on the dunes.
Yeah. Good time, when you are in those countries, we gotta go inside of the culture of the place, and they love fights, man. They love fights, the Fight Island, what they doing right now with with the UFC, they're getting them to the next level. I have a time to chat with the Minister of the Tourism and Marketing of this country, and they invest so much in this sport right now. And they get the Isa Island, to be a place to play sport. They have even close to here. They have they make a lot of things for this sport right now. So they have race cars, F1 right here. They do
Ferrari Worlds
cricket. That the game for the play that in Indian. The final of the Indian games are here. There was last week, so they get all those hotels, in the island to make the island of the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to get into that too. But first, going back to when we were in Abu Dhabi, we did so much cool stuff. We went to the military base and grappled with people. You grappled with like everybody. And I want to tell one story really fast. It's still one of the funniest stories ever. You, me, and a couple other people from the UFC went from Abu Dhabi to Dubai to do a radio interview. And you had shorts on like you always do, of course. It's normal for you, and a T-shirt. And I was dressed normal because we were just literally going to a radio interview. I think it was at the Dubai Mall, and then coming back. On the way back from the radio interview, they asked us, hey, do you want to go to the beach and check out the Burj Al Arab and then the Burj Khalifa and stuff. So we wanted to go to Burj Al Arab on the beach. We circle to the beach. We get out, and you pull out swim goggles from your shorts. So I've always wanted. So not only was it a hilarious moment, because why in the hell did you have swim goggles in your shorts when we weren't even going to the ocean? But I still don't know why you had those in your shorts. And then you jumped in the ocean, and then you just went swimming for like an hour. We had to just wait while you went swimming for an hour in front of the Burj Al Arab. Do you just carry swim goggles with you? Are you that Brazilian?
I always bring with me. I'll tell you, so he's so. I have a goggles on me right now. So after the interview, I'm going to go to the pool to swim for 1 hour as well.
You're ready to swim all the time. When you pulled those out, like literally that was one of the funniest moments ever. And you just jumped in the ocean, and we just lost you. For like you swam all the way past the hotel. We couldn't even see you. It was hilarious. Unbelievable. And I've seen you in like every country. I've seen you in, obviously I went to your gym in Brazil, and then I saw the fights that you put on. You put on a show in Brazil. Anderson Silva, everybody was there. I saw you in, obviously, America multiple times. I saw you in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and then we ran into each other in Russia, of all places. We were both on separate trips in Moscow, and we just bumped into each other.
A TV show they call 30 Degree, and we went to 16, went to 18 countries, to show the martial arts, the local martial arts. This time I met you there in Phuket. I went to your Jamaica in Phuket. I was shooting the about Muay Thai. So we go pretty much everywhere in the world. Yeah.
It's crazy, but we literally bumped into each other in Moscow, like literally face to face, and had no idea we were in the same country. That's the most crazy coincidence ever. And then obviously you came to Phuket, you trained at AKA Thailand, and then you beat me up in my own gym, which, like, when I went to your gym, like, I didn't beat anybody up. I was just like nice and watched the fights. You came to my gym and you just kicked my ass in front of everybody for like 30 minutes or an hour.
My friend, I'm bigger than you. Come on, you gotta consider it.
And a lot better.
I'm almost 240 pounds,
Yeah, you are awesome. It's so great to have you at the gym and be able to grapple with you.
Today I have a chance to roll with Michael Chiesa.
Yeah.
Such a nice guy, here. And you was one of the guys I want to roll with because of, since you get inside that UFC, you like Chiesa, we got a great image, but you working on inside of the octagon, but outside of octagon, you got your personality, you work with communication, always like doing a great job there in the Instagram, but you doing your own radio thing. Also Chiesa, he's doing something else in TVs. I like this style, maybe not only a fighter, but you got something outside there.
You too. I see you doing all these interviews now in Abu Dhabi with all the fighters. Are you doing stuff with like UFC Brazil right now? Like you're doing interviews for them?
Yeah, I'm working for Sport TV.
Yep.
In Brazil, and so Canal Combate. UFC got in Brazil the channel just for fighting, like 24 hours, like fighting.
Okay. Network. Yep.
So, so I'm doing this TV show over there for the traveling all over the world, so doing a lot of this TV, and also I do the comments of the UFCs like two times a month. So I go there to make the comments, when they have the shows. And now here in Abu Dhabi, I open up the comments, Yeah. So we trust for Sport TV is like 10 million people watch, to Canal Combate, like 700 people watch as a pay-per-view, So I transfer for the free TV to the pay TV, So I make this comment like 3 minutes, to do all over those fights. And it is good, because we can tell them our view of a professional fighter, more or less who's going to win or who is the strongest. I think like you and me, we can stand. Some fighters are going to fight, but some guys are big name, but maybe the upcoming. That's his moment right now. You know what I mean? Yep. So easily you can see who's the guy of the moment. Some people at home they don't see that.
Yeah.
So pretty much I can give them that kind of deal.
I see you interacting with a lot of the fighters during these cards here on Fight Island. Are you having to go through the whole COVID isolation thing? Like, are you having to stay isolated the whole time you're there right now?
Yeah. What's the process? No, the whole time. When you come inside of the island, we came from Brazil. So we made a test in Brazil, 2 tests in Brazil before we came. We flew to England. That in England, all the Brazilian fighters, that in England, they have another test and the quarantine. Okay, then quarantine. So we say 2 days in the hotel. In 2 days, we make 2 tests. If you passing those 2 tests, so it's gonna be about 1 week after your first test. So if you have something, gonna appear. So after 2 tests, they fly you, the private plane, the same private plane lives from Brazil, private plane lives from England, from Ed Hart, but it's just, all for UFC, people, employers. So when we got here in the island, we got another test, and we stayed 48 hours in the room.
Yeah.
So about 4 days in a really good, strong quarantine. And here in the place, I go talk to the fighters. But when we get all together in the show, obligatory, mandatory, we use mask. We met in a breakfast, things like this. We talk to them. It's not good to be shaking hands, things like this. You know what I mean? But we try to don't put many people together in the same place. That's the thing.
Yeah, of course. What do you think about how this Fight Island has happened and how Dana and the UFC has kept all the sports going, basically, and the fights going through this quarantine and this whole setup in Abu Dhabi? Like, is it just a crazy experience or what?
It's a crazy experience. I'll tell you, man. The first day I just got here, looked like we was in I would say that in a movie. How they get all those closest.
Yeah.
I thought I was in another planet. You know what I mean? Like how the security was so like, in the UFC they got a great team. They made everything like a military, in details. And they got together with Abu Dhabi. The country is very strict also. I think it's this country, Abu Dhabi, is the lowest, the lowest numbers of COVID right now in the world. So that's why they decided to come here. So this island here is a complex of hotels. They have 5 hotels. That in the W hotel we see the fighters and the UFC employers and TV people, and the media is staying in the different hotels. And another employers be in the different hotels. But once we got inside, they make like a bubble. A bubble. People don't come inside. If you come inside right now, you gotta have like 14 days of quarantine, if not from UFC.
It's crazy.
For UFC, you got a 2 days quarantine. 2 days quarantine, like before. Maybe before those 2 days, if you in transit, you got a 4 days. So they made it very like healthy military thing, so people don't have the disease from outside. And Abu Dhabi got together with UFC. And Dana, he's been doing that since he's been get together with Abu Dhabi 10 years ago. They start to do business together. Yep. They was involved with UFC business for the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. So they always do together. And now they wanna transform Abu Dhabi, the capital of the sport in the world.
Yeah. It's a great place.
Dana got this dream, this idea. Abu Dhabi made it happen with Dana. Was a great, great partnership.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we started kind of pro around the same time, but you were fighting the big shows back in like 99, 2000. How is it being that you were in those big shows back in 99, 2000, and then 20 years later, seeing the sport that was so, it was like taboo back then, and so like unrecognized and looked down upon pretty much. How has it been for you seeing the sport grow and become what it is today, and like how huge it is and how massive it is, and this huge card coming up next weekend, 254 and stuff like that? How has it been for you seeing that whole journey and being a part of it?
Yeah, it's a big journey. I feel glad to be part of that since that happened. And now, now the sport grows a lot. And the UFC, I'll tell you, it's not only the biggest show in the world, but it's the biggest sport platform in the world.
Yeah.
Like people in the UFC numbers, some shows like that, that one 255 they're gonna show for like 1.2 billion, homes. That's how crazy the numbers is. You know what I mean? Like, I'll tell you, and UFC was the first sport after the COVID, the first league. Yep. How it started again.
Still leading, yeah.
That was a good thing, because of the healthy, military, healthy, like they got together, like I will say military. I'm telling you about how they straight with the plans and nothing different happens. So UFC was the first one. So now on, UFC got big numbers, even bigger than before the pandemic, I guess. And you know, and great to see that, you know, how they get so organized, and you know, but in the bottom of the line, they didn't miss the DNA of this thing. You know, the DNA is the fighters fight a new talent, and UFC always find a new talent. You know, every show up is someone else. You remember the 2 shows before the spinning kick?
Yeah.
You know, they did it.
That's crazy.
You know, so amazing things happen. You know, that make the sport the most interesting sport in the world.
What makes it so crazy too is not just that the fighters get to fight. And the fans just get to see fights like they always do, but it's like medicine. You know, it's like there's so many people that are stuck at home right now in quarantine and not having nothing to do. The movies have stopped production, TV shows have stopped production, all of sports have stopped production. And then now, you know, you have Dana and the UFC bringing you these live fights like nothing changed. And so it's like for people at home, it's like it brings that sense of normalcy back where it's like you can kind of like watch a show for 3 hours and feel like things are kind of normal. You know, it's affected the whole world for sure.
For sure, like you said, man. You know that, like, you know, this time of pandemic, that's happened. People gotta respect this thing until the end, until everyone got a shot, you know, medicine. But if you stay at home, nothing to do, not interesting, and people, you know, people love sport.
Yeah,
you can grow up, you know, every Saturday turn on the TV. And I turn off the TV Sunday night, Sunday evening. Yeah, so what we do, watching the sport, your soccer play, your best fighters, you know, and then I make that happen, you know, to keep the people, you know, dream, you know, coming through with the Fight Island, you know, keep this thing happen there in Vegas, you know, it's amazing. It's amazing being part of that, you know, and now, but now it's different, you know, you see the fighters fight for no crowd.
Yeah, it is different.
That's different feeling. You can. Other day I saw a girl. She was fighting, and she listened Daniel Cormier comment. You know,
they're getting coached by the commentators.
She listened the commentator, and she did the position because I was so, you know, like no crowd, nobody say something.
Yeah, that is so crazy. Have you been able to watch the fights? Like most of the fights there live?
Yeah, I mean, I go inside, make the comments for the you know, before for the sport TV, and you know, most of the fights when the Brazilian fighters fight was some interesting fighter. I've been watching a lot of those Russian guys. Yeah, you know, and all those guys. You know, like I like them. You know, they tough. You know, some good Americans I watch too. You know. So I watch like maybe 60% of the fights. I like to see the back. I like to be in the backstage most of the time. You know, interact with the fighters. You know, try to see and help give some good words.
Yeah, did you see the Ortega fight versus Zombie?
Man, crazy, Ortega's fight, incredible. How this kid, you know, improve his distance.
Yeah, it's great.
He made a perfect fight.
Yeah,
you know, in elbow change, you know, the Zumbi mind. I think, you know, when he saw it, I think when Zumbi saw that position, break his mind. That's what I think. After that, changed totally the game.
And I love seeing the fact, like, they have the footage now of him doing that same exact move with Tiki backstage. Like, they were literally drilling the same move backstage before the fight, and it worked out exactly how they were drilling it. Like, I love seeing stuff like that where, you know, fighters are so in tune with what they have to do and what they're supposed to do and what they're working on that they go out there and they execute it perfectly.
Yeah, I believe. But I'll tell you, my friend, every single position I fought, I made it in the pride, like a submission. That one I was training in the locker room.
Yeah.
I believe. I said, man, I'm gonna try this position 10 times. One's gonna work. You know, I mean, you know, when you got your team, you trust in your coach. You know, I think so too. Your best position, you train that in the locker room. Yeah.
Yeah, but you couldn't have predicted on one of your fights, I know, with Bob Sapp. Let me say one thing. One of my favorite submissions you pulled off was against Bob Sapp. And, like, I literally thought you died. Like, I thought when a 350-pound man slams you on your head like that, Like, I thought you were dead, and then his arm comes up, and you're a 240-pound man just hanging on the side of his arm, and you're in like the air. It's just incredible. That was one of the most incredible fights, one of the most incredible submissions, and a true testament to your mental fortitude of never giving up, never stopping, and just continuing to fight through everything. Because that had to have hurt. That had to have rung your bell for sure.
Yeah, man. Mike, I still feel my back. Since I woke morning, I feel my back today morning. You know what I mean? Like, was heavy, and the first round I was totally dizzy, my friend.
Yeah,
I was like, I see him like, barely, like, you know what I mean. My eye was bad, my view of him, but but I didn't give up. I believe in the, in my mind, I'm going to take his arm. Somehow I'm going to take his arm. And I was training in this position. I got this side control and got his arm on board. And exactly the same thing, like 100 times before in the locker room, man. So I got this thing in my mind, That's like you said it in the Ortega's fight, he was training there. You remember another fighter who was McGregor. He was training the same position he caught Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
He was in that position. You remember that? That video came out.
Yeah, it's crazy when that happens. And do you have a gym? Don't you have a gym in Dubai or Abu Dhabi? It's Abu Dhabi, correct? Your gym?
No, in Dubai.
It is in Dubai.
We have the Nogueira Dubai from like, I'll tell you, 7 years. From 7 that we started 2013. Before was a Emirates Jiu-Jitsu Center, was a black belt in our team in Zemario Sperry, and now he came here, Rafael Halbert. He came here like 10 years ago to Dubai, 12 years ago to Abu Dhabi. 10 years ago, he went to Dubai, opened his gym down there, and they became 7 years ago, became a Nogueira gym. That is one of the biggest gyms we have over there, Sheikh Tariq is the Sheikh from the Sharjah, the number 3 Emirates, here in Abu Dhabi. He's a black belt. He's a European champ. So he always bring in great fighters like Buchecha, Leandro Lo, a lot of great guys, all the best black belts in Jiu-Jitsu. They always been here teaching. Bruno Frazato,
wow.
A lot of great, like, been coaching down there, like a month, 2 months. So every time he's changing coach, Leonardo Vieira, So we got a higher Jiu-Jitsu level down there. And now on, they start a MMA program. So we have a fighter from our gym is fighting in the UFC right now. Just signed and I won the last fight. His name is Munir.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. So he's a really tough guy. So since he signed with UFC, we have 23 professional fighters trained over there as well.
Wow.
So we're growing that MMA program, very strong down there. So after here, I'm gonna spend like 10 days there, helping our Jiu-Jitsu team and our MMA pro, to develop new fighters. And the fight here is very like, they have a Desert Force, the big show over here for the locals, and they have a Abu Dhabi, own show. Also, they make own show at MMA right now. So the thing's getting bigger here.
Yeah, they're developing a lot. And, like, we're getting a lot of guys from Thailand that are coming from Dubai that are fighting in Desert Force and some of these other shows. And just in general, just coming over to train.
Yeah, they train with you. Yeah. I know. Man, by the way, your gym, man, is amazing. I've been following the AKA gym there in Thailand. Man, that's a dream come true, man. I visited you in the last one, Me and Feijão, Rafael
Feijão. It was you and Feijão came by.
Yeah, he just messaged me right now. So I saw his message here.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Feijão. And we was talking that you want to go back to Thailand, So I want to spend a couple of days training there.
Yeah, anytime. As soon as this thing's over and the borders open up, it'd be great to have you back for sure. All right, guys, we got to thank our sponsors really fast. Our first sponsor is Manscaped, the official trimmer of the UFC, and now the official trimmer of the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast. The best below-the-waist trimmer and product on the market, bar none, by far, 100%. And now you can save 20% by entering code QUICK at checkout when you go to manscaped.com, manscaped.com. Enter code QUICK. You get 20% discount. Free shipping to your door. What's better than that? And it lets them know that I sent you, so you support the podcast, you support Manscaped, and you get the best trimmer on the market. Boom, free to your door. And as always, this podcast is brought to you by AKA Thailand, the world's premier luxury training resort here in Phuket, Thailand. For all the information you need, go to akathailand.com. We still have the 30% off special, reopen special, since the quarantine's still going on and the borders are still locked. Hopefully that ends soon, but you can save 30% by pre-booking now. We can also help you get visas, 6-month, 12-month, so you don't have to go in and out of Thailand every month for a visa run. We can set that up right now, start that process. Any questions you have, go to info@akathailand.com. We can get you started. We can get you booked. We can answer all your questions. We can get your visa processed. Anything you need. I'll see you soon.
What's up, everybody? I am here in Thailand. This is the first time I've ever been here. Been dying to come here for years. Mike Swick, he's one of the big reasons he's been trying to pull me down here. What he built down here, AKA Thailand, is incredible. There's people here from all over the world. You can train mixed martial arts here, jiu-jitsu. They have weightlifting, they have cardio, and obviously they have Muay Thai, boxing, everything. I'm telling you guys, I know everybody wants to go to Thailand because Thailand's so cool, but you can't come to Thailand without coming to AKA Thailand. Come on.
What do you think about this big UFC 254 card coming up and happening right there? Like, how crazy is this fight going to be with Gaethje and Khabib?
Man, it's an insane fight because, we have the best guy, the best record in the world, it's Khabib.
Yeah.
The best record by far, in numbers of, shoots he does in the game. Every time he shoots, he never misses.
No. He just keeps going.
He goes single leg, double leg, body lock, and goes to the single again. He make happen. He doesn't go and go back. You know what I mean? You see that. His transition is insane. His groundwork is perfect. He that's the type of, he don't scramble too much. He don't give the chance of scramble. I've been watching, the new fighters, they scramble, hardly, barely they get in some position and stop. And Khabib, he's like progressive. He's the end's gonna be tapping, you know what I mean? Once he put out. And the other side, he's fighting the most dangerous guy in this moment.
For sure.
If his opponents, numbers, 98% of the fight, he keeps standing. He only went to the ground 2%. So, he's the type of guy, he never goes to the ground, Since I like more Khabib, if you ask me who's my favorite, Khabib. As a fighter, if I see my fight, I don't know both. I like the Khabib style because I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, I'm a grappler. You know what I mean? The other guy is most dangerous guy standing up right now because he's counting punches. You've been seeing that, his last fight was against who?
Tony
his
Ferguson.
Last fight. Ferguson, his fight against Ferguson. He did a lot of counting punches, hooks, and things like this. So Khabib, in my opinion, Khabib gotta close the game, and he will. Body to body, I think he's stronger than than his opponent. And I think once he's a taller, stronger, like a grip. Once he grapple, I think he's a favorite for this fight. But his opponent is very dangerous. We can't forget. The most dangerous guy, striker at the moment in the game. He don't miss a punch, and he won by knockout so many good guys. But in my opinion, but if you say by numbers, 60-40. Maybe 65-35 to Khabib.
Yeah. And then looking ahead just a little bit, what do you think about Anderson Silva and Uriah Hall? How do you think that fight's going to go?
Anderson Silva, for me, is one of the greatest fighters in the past. Happens for UFC. I remember, 2010 when I met you. After I met you here, I flew to Maldives and I went to some island in Maldives. The leader of the island that, took a boat for 5 hours. Yeah. And the guy was selling coconut in the beach, a local guy. And he was like, man, Anderson Silva? Like, we want to know, in a little place. And I said, man, do you know Pelé? You know Cristiano Ronaldo? He said, I don't know. I know Anderson Silva. So he was... he's most of the sport, he wanted the name of, like Mike Tyson, brought the name of the MMA in another level for everyday people, So he's always been my idol, by talking about this fight, he's fighting a guy younger than him, dangerous as well, but when Anderson fight those kind of guys, he's very activity of distance, you know what I mean? Like he fought Adesanya. When he fought Adesanya, he was, in and out. He never gave a chance to Adesanya give any, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like anything else. And his opponent got a very good spinning kicks, and he's strong at the hands, but Anderson moves. So I think he's favorite because he moves a lot, So this is going to be one of his last fights. I hope he may, he make it, and get out of winning. Yeah.
No, it is going to be. Has he said it's going to be one of his last fights?
Yeah, I mean, he don't have many fights.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
I don't think it's going to be his last fight. People saying his last fight. I'm sure that it's not going to be his last fight. He never say that to me, but I'm feeling he still want to fight. There's no many guys, man. He's 45 years old.
Wow.
But the guy, I'll tell you, man, he's still training.
Yeah,
he's still training, still moving. He's so active. Like he look like a kid, man. He look like a. If you go to his house, he's always hanging things. Be around like a teenager.
Yeah, I was in his era, and like I was one fight away from him when I beat Loazo for the #1 contendership, and that was at the beginning of his career when he'd only fought Chris Lieben and Rich Franklin. So we didn't get to see like how good he really was at that point and how good he was going to be. And I became such a massive fan of his as he just kept winning more and more fights. He was like one of the first guys in the UFC that really just blew people away. You know what I mean? That fighter that came out every time and won a fight in a fashion that would have you jumping out of your chair. You know what I mean? Like he was that first big, like just superstar, beating everybody. Then he'd go up a weight class and he'd win there too. And like he was defeating everyone. And so it's like that legacy will always be there, and he's always been a huge inspiration for me, even though I was in his era as well. I was in the same division and right there, but he was still such a huge inspiration for me.
Yeah, he was. I remember that's one thing. When he was in his prime, fighting, I'll tell you, every round he knocked people out or finished, he was telling me, Master, that's going to be in the second round.
Yeah.
That's going to be the third round. He knows exactly. He playing the fight in his head, in his mind before. I'll tell you, when he fought a Vitor Belfort, I'll tell you that, man. I had a hip surgery. So I came out with a charter flight from a friend of mine. He loves Anderson. So I said, okay, you sit with me. I got 2 tickets. So, we go to Vegas, sit at my side. We got to sit close to the octagon and from Anderson. So I rented a car, Hollis Royce. He loved it. Rented the car, he loved it. So, to pick him up in the shopping mall before the fight. It was like 2 o'clock, he was supposed to leave at 5. So I went to the shop there in Vegas to pick him up. He was doing shopping the day of the fight. So I put him inside of the car, man, that's a serious fight, okay, man? Vitor Belfort is like one of the best guys in this moment. It was 2011, I guess. And that's the guy, man. So take this fight. And I was driving the car, the Rolls Royce, so I was very attention and say, stop the car. I stopped the car next to the Mandalay Bay. I look at him and say, man, I'm going to knock this guy out in the first round. Okay. I say, how? He said, I'm going to step in the mirror, step to the side. He's going to open his mirror. I'm going to kick him his face, I'm training this kick every day. Trust me, that's going to happen. Crazy. Man, he did it. He did it. He told me exactly what he was going to do. Believe that?
Yeah, that is crazy. And and I had Khabib on the show a couple days ago, and I asked him what his biggest asset was as a fighter that's brought him so far, and then asking you the same thing, because you compare so much, and the fact those fights with like Bob Sapp and Cro Cop and there's been fights where you've obviously had really, really rough fights and always came out ahead because you didn't give up, or you didn't stop, or you didn't tap, whatever the case. Do you think the mental fortitude is one of the biggest assets of a fighter, and that's the difference of some of these fighters that make it and some of these that don't?
Yeah, I mean, your mindset. Before the fight, you gotta have a great mindset. I think I'll tell you maybe 30%. It's a physical game. You gotta push yourself in a physical game. Technical game, you gotta have a team what you trust. But I'll tell you, maybe 50-60% your mindset. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter if it's a fighter, a basketball player, like a soccer player. You know what I mean? Your mindset is the most important thing. You got to believe in yourself. Yeah. So that game, inside of the octagon, sometimes you fight for your position inside. You know what I mean? So that's why my fight style wasn't step back. Yeah. Was forward. But I think mindset is the biggest point.
Yeah, and looking back at your career, you fought so many people. It's hard to imagine you didn't fight someone. Was there anybody in your career that you didn't fight that you wanted to ever?
Back then when they had Brock Lesnar, the one, the world title, I wouldn't fight him because he was big guy, wrestler, he put on the game, so it was good. Was a good, guy to fight with, Maybe, the guy I like a lot, Cormier, not because I want to fight him, because he's a big guy of this, I think now one of the biggest image of the whole thing, won a middleweight and a heavyweight, not because I want to fight him, because he's my friend, though. Yeah. But, that's a type of guy, classic, like Del Henderson, like Randy Couture, you know what I mean? Like you listen Holy Stones, man, you know what I mean? Yeah. Classic guys.
And even being the Strikeforce champion, the UFC champion, and all the stuff you've accomplished, is there a single fight that was your biggest win or your most happiest moment in your career that you can remember?
I'll tell you, my friend, I have 3 times in my career. I'll tell you 3 times, when UFC went back, to Brazil, was good. 2011, it was the first time again. UFC was in Brazil like in 1998, 1997. So 14 years after that, UFC came back. I had to face it. Brandon Schaub. He was a new upcoming guy. It was a big challenge for me because I have a hip surgery. I shaved the bone of my legs, and it was a big comeback. I have an ACL surgery. Then I had a surgery in my hips one side, then hips to the other side. 1 year, 3 months without without training. So I just came back. Was a big upcoming, and all the Brazilian media was supporting me to make this challenge. And I remember we did a great, thing in Twitter. I sleep with 17,000 followers in the Twitter. So I put some hashtag like Minotauro Colorado finaliza Minotauro. So it's like finish Minotauro, submit. And we wake up with 116,000 followers.
Yeah.
99,000 followers night a day.
Yeah.
And then the campaign with almost 1 million followers, so it was a big interaction of fans, talking at Twitter, things like this. So to me, was very important. Another fight against Bob Sapp because it was one of the biggest shows in national stage of Tokyo, and another big fight for me was against Cro Cop.
Yeah, that was a tough fight.
Best undefeated, like was 11-0, something like this.
Yeah.
So I had I had to do some surgeries. I was coming back, and face this guy was a big challenge for me.
Yeah, those were amazing fights. Definitely to be proud of. And what's one of your favorite fighters now?
Favorite fighter, I like Khabib.
Khabib.
He fights. Man, it's insane. I love this kid since he started. Pushing, oppression. He's for me. It's fun to watch. Some people say he's holding people. That's the way, man. That's the way I like it. Hold people with pressure on him. He's a great fighter. Yeah, pretty much Amanda Nunes, she's a fun to watch as well.
Yeah,
knockout pressure, she's the thing. She's the shit, man. And this kid, Dave Sodaico Nascimento, the lightweight kid, from Brazil. I love his fight style. I like the way he fights. He put pressure on it. Yeah, most of those 3 guys impress me right now.
All right, last thing, because I've seen you all over the world. You're doing TV, you're traveling, you're doing all these interviews and stuff. What is it that obviously you're doing something fun right now, but what is it that you want to focus on for the rest of your life? Like, what is it that your passion right now after fighting? Is it doing interviews and doing TV shows about fighting, running your gyms? What is it that you enjoy the most now after you're done fighting?
Yeah, I'm working for UFC Brazil since I finished my career as a fighter in 2015. So Lorenzo and Dana, they asked me to work for UFC. So I've been working for them, the office, like 4 to 5 days a week. I sit in the office every day in the afternoon. And me and Dennis Martins was some guy. We work in supporting the UFC with the USADA program in Brazil. For the fighters, like supplements and things like this. So we're working also get any founding money with they have surgeries, they have anything. So we between the process of the company executive part with the fighters. So we develop fighter the communication. Same thing Reed Harris does in the United States. We do that in Brazil. So I'm 24/7, man. Since the guy here in the UFC. I'll tell you simple things, since I have like a ice tub for the kids, I got them, mats for the room. They don't have gloves for Poliana Botelho, things like this. When they're traveling, I like to, they do all the sport. So that I spend 7 weeks. I would spend 7 weeks here in the island, by myself, but focus on all the fighters, We have just one guy, the last guy, Alex Cowboy, who's fighting, in this show. So I was waiting until the last guy,
Yeah.
So I couldn't call them, things. Even training, man. We have 2 guys, 2 heavyweights, they didn't have a partner trainer. I was training with them, So I think the thing I've been focused more. And another thing, man, let me show you one thing. So one thing, what we're doing in Brazil right now, we have in the schools, and we try to introduce the martial arts in schools. So, that they have a problem. It's like they have a wrestling in the United States. Okay, in Brazil, we have some problem.
Oh, wow.
When we make public schools,
nice.
With like introduction for the martial arts,
So that's in public schools?
For the public schools, yeah. So we show up, a lot of the history of MMA, like some fighters like Buchecha, we tell the history of the, Thiago Camilo, the judo, Olympic champ. So we're talking about, the belts, the rules, some positions for jiu-jitsu. We do a lot of boxing, Muay Thai, and judo.
So awesome.
So we have 4 different martial arts. So we introduce him to the schools. We plan it next year. Was supposed to do this year, but the COVID stopped at everything.
Yeah.
So we are doing that. That's very focused on the new kids. The next generation learn. The benefits of the martial arts, man. Because now everyone knows everything by the Google, internet, or by the video game. And it's hard, you gotta the kids to train and learn things from the martial arts.
That's so awesome of you and such a great influence for them. That's amazing.
Yeah, man, I love it, and people gotta see the message, like you guy, like some. When you got a kid like 13, 14 years old, you got a lot of knowledge to teach them.
Yeah. Well, my brother, thank you so much for taking time out. I know you have worked so much in Abu Dhabi, and you've been so busy, and I couldn't not get in touch with you and check up on you when you're in our old place that we used to hang out at together. And so it's been great to talk to you again, great to catch up, great to get your insight on the Fight Island and the fights and the upcoming cards and everything else. So again, thank you so much for taking time out for the show. Can't wait for you to come back to Thailand and beat me up again at AKA Thailand at my gym and roll with you again and hang out in Thailand. So I appreciate it so much.
Thank you very much, my friend. And I always, wish luck for you and, wish the best. You're a nice show. I saw you in the Khabib talking, in the show. And you bring great people. So for me, it's an honor to be in this, here with you. So organized view. I've been seeing that in this your studio. Yeah, go on, man.
It's just me in here.
Like I said, man, you're a different guy. You had the great time there inside the octagon, and outside the octagon, you keep the same, man. Hard worker and the gym. Hard worker to communicate people how big you are. Congratulations, man. You 1 in 1 million, man.
Thank you, brother. And aside from being my friend as well, it's an honor to have you on the show. You're one of the biggest legends to ever be on the show, and you've done it all. You've been an inspiration for me my whole career, and so it's great to be your friend. It's great to have watched your career, and it's great to have you on the show. And I can't wait to see you again. Good luck with everything in Abu Dhabi, with your gym, with your travels, and your show. And I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, I see you soon. I keep communicating. Let's go Thailand next.
Absolutely.
Take care, my friend.
All right, brother. Take care. All right, there we go. My brother Nogueira, unbelievable guy. Literally. I mean, how do you not love that guy after watching this podcast or listening to this podcast? The guy's amazing. He's been an ambassador since day one of the toughest guys in the sport. Nobody could ever have earned their right for respect and credibility in the sport of MMA more than he has. I mean, he has had some of the toughest fights, won some of the toughest fights, just absolutely done everything there is to do in the sport. And he's kept a positive attitude, like you saw here, and he's always been an ambassador. I can't even say ambassador. He's always been an ambassador. I can't even say ambassador, and he is an ambassador. He's always been an ambassador, and he's still now, even after his fighting career, doing stuff for the children and trying to get BJJ and martial arts in public schools, or doing it, actually, as we saw the workbook. It's just fantastic. I love the guy. I've been so fortunate enough to hang out with him so many times in so many different countries. It's been so random sometimes, especially in Moscow. Literally our bodies bumped into each other at a place. And we had no earthly idea that we were even in the same country. It was absolutely beyond crazy. It was a cool place, though. So there was that could have been a reason. But anyway, yeah, so awesome talking to him and seeing how things are going on Fight Island, seeing what he's doing with the UFC. I think this is what he wants to do. I think this is his passion. I think he loves traveling. He loves doing the TV stuff and the media stuff and working with his gyms. He seems so into it, and he deserves it. He deserves a great life for the blood, sweat, and tears that he's given us for so many years. So I can't say enough good things about him. I probably already have. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you took from it. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Hope you enjoyed the Khabib podcast. Hope you enjoyed this one. I will say that the next one, I'm going to go ahead and announce, hopefully not jinx it, but I'm going to go ahead and announce it, even though it's in the works and it's not 100% done yet, but it is agreed upon, and it's Dana White. So I'm trying to get Dana White to end this UFC 254 series of podcasts we've been kind of doing leading up to this huge fight next weekend. And it's going to be great to have him in that series. So he did agree, and we are working it out as of right now. It's Tuesday night already, and I'm doing this podcast with Nogueira, so obviously we're pushed for time, but I am going to be on it as soon as this podcast is over to make sure that we get this pushed in and we can get it posted and done and everything before the fight and get his take on everything. I mean, I got a lot to talk to him about, so hopefully he has a lot of time, or I'm just going to keep trying to extend his time until I suck all of it up. But another great guy who's awesome and always has great things to say. Has been on the podcast before. So I went ahead and let that out. Hopefully it stays true like all these others I've promised you guys. But that's what I'm planning on doing. That's what he's agreed upon. It is set. And I'm really looking forward to that podcast as well. So anyway, if you're on YouTube, please leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know your thoughts on all these podcasts, who you want to see next. Any ideas you have, any critiques, we love hearing your comments and your feedback, and we like to answer as much as we can. If you're on the audio platform, subscribe, follow us there as well, and we'll see you next time. All right, we're about to do some dune driving. Ready to have some fun?
Ask for 100% adrenaline.
Get out.
We have the best driver. Sorry.
Oh shit! Calma, amigo.
Wow! Sorry. How come you're so controlled?
This is fun.
Wow.
Dead camel?
Can we go there?
Nogueira killed it. Camel.
Yeah, right. I was too heavy.
Give him a kiss, Nogueira. I'm gonna try and choke this camel. Not really gonna choke it. It's good sport. You're a good sport, buddy.
Can you make a Muay Thai clinch to do a knee and him? Do a knee. Yeah. Pretty high.
I'm gonna try to do a little sandboarding with this thing. Yeah. Round two, baby. Higher is the trick. Turn the hat backwards. I'll be more aerodynamic. Fuck. Shit. So low. Damn. That's tough, man.
Real quick, with Mike Swick.